And we're off and running for Thursday. Welcome to the Curt and Jen in the Morning podcast. Thank you for being here.
I feel like we need some Genergy in the house.
We probably do. Every single day we could use some extra Genergy, particularly these last few days, right? So thank you for joining us as always. You can like, you can follow, you can subscribe. We'd love to have that done. There, we can get the Christmas tree in there and you. We got to get both faces.
On the YouTube where we video ourselves
on the
in
YouTube
this podcast.
Exactly.
We are trying to get us in and the Christmas tree. I'm like, just get the Christmas tree in, Curt. Just knock me out of the picture.
And then, you say that now.
What do we have coming up in the show today, Curt
How about
Cruz?
how to win fights using Chat GPT?
This, I don't know if I like.
AI
yes,
fight
it
assistance.
is.
Taylor Swift's brother, really good guy.
I want to hear more.
Dude. All right. And if you're interested, you can now buy a Louis Vuitton Doghouse.
I'm going to talk about that. And it is worth looking up.
Give some thought to what you think the price will be. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. And from yesterday, and again, you guys just hit it out of the park. What's something you've seen a lot, but are still in awe of every single time you see it? Right?
Hot firefighter boyfriend, Pat.
Nice. All right, let's go back to yesterday's show for a second.
Okay.
I was wearing
for those who
gear.
who watch, or if you see our post on Facebook.
One of the things that I thought would be funny when we first started doing the podcast last April,
this past April,
was I'm going to wear Kraken gear every day. I thought I'd do that for like a week, and now it's been like every show for the Seattle Kraken, greatest hockey team in history.
You almost broke the streak yesterday. I'm like, go change your clothes right this minute.
I was kind of sad, but. So yesterday I wore I guess it would look like a typical, it's sort of a...
Like a Carhartt's color.
Brown, yes, or brownish yellow. Yeah. Anyway, we had a comment on our page that said, hey, Curt looks like that guy from Spaceballs, Barf.
That was Randy.
Randy said that. Played by, you know what, it should be an honor because it was a very funny character played by John Candy.
Aww.
Barf is a Mog, half man, half dog.
A Mog. Oh, my God. Yes. All right.
I don't think that I look like Barf, but, to each their own. Thanks for paying attention, Randy, and chiming in, I think.
I don't know about that.
All right.
No, I mean, we thank him for listening and watching and all those things.
But do I look like Barf?
I didn't even know what the character was
That's
called.
That's how he says it. Barf.
All right. I don't know how I feel about this new relationship hack. In 2024 is couples, especially young couples, are now using Chat GPT to officiate their argument and help them win fights.
Yes.
So first and foremost, if you're a couple and you're trying to win a fight, that is probably not great.
You should be coming to an agreement.
Right. You shouldn't be trying to win fights. You should be trying to work through them together.
If you don't know what Chat GPT is, it's one of the early AI. See, that's how I'm gonna. It's AI. That's what it is.
I think I said GPT.
Chat GPT. So this is using basically artificial intelligence to help you win arguments. This is from HuffPost today. They talked to a few experts about relationship experts. I guess they said that might not be the best idea. I'm sorry, that using AI to solve arguments might not be the worst idea for some stuff. Especially if you can't afford a therapist. But that sounds like a dangerous path to go down to me. A slippery slope. If AI is going to be your therapist, According to them, they say, for example, there's a good chance that AI will back you up with a phrase like, I think they're being a jerk. Am I nuts? If you use that
That's
phrase,
what AI will...
No, if
you're saying that.
Yeah, I think they're being a jerk. Am I nuts? That Chat GPT will probably come back, and they actually apparently... have ways for one or the other person to win the argument. And like you said, is it about winning the argument, Jen?
Well, it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
I mean, any therapist would say the goal isn't to win the argument. The goal is to, like you said, work together and come to some kind of mutual understanding. Right.
And there's this 25-year-old who went to Reddit for advice because his girlfriend constantly uses Chat GPT to win arguments. He said she'll pause at a fight, go to another room, ask Chat GPT about it, and come back with a quote, well-constructed argument breaking down everything he said or did. Is that just using the tools that are available to you to...
I mean, that's the thing, right? That's the balance of technology.
Right. And he's saying he doesn't think that's a fair way to fight, and he asked her to stop. But
I mean, he could too. I mean, I guess if they agree, they both are going to use it. But what do you get, really?
What do
you get from it?
He said that he asked her to stop because it wasn't a fair way to fight, but then she asked ChatGPT, is it a fair way to fight using ChatGPT?
Or is he just being insecure?
Yeah. I for whatever reason... I don't like
That doesn't make my heart feel good.
Nah. Work things out, right? And we both are fans of therapy. So if you're on the fence about therapy, both Jen and I would say it's good. It's
I was
helpful.
there yesterday,
Yes.
and it's real hard work, but
hard
it's still it makes you be able to show up better for the world and your relationships.
Awesome. So we have
I like this Wizard of Oz ruby slippers up for auction.
have you heard of that movie, Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, I'm gonna go see Wicked, which is like a
Spin-off or
yeah.
a prequel or whatever you want to call it. So, of course, from the Wizard of Oz, Judy Garland, who played Dorothy, wore ruby red slippers. They say slippers, but they look like shoes.
They're sparkly red.
Sparkly, yes.
Sparkly red slippers.
They are up for auction. I didn't know the backstory to this is that the actual ruby red slippers from the Wizard of Oz were stolen by a mobster.
Yeah, because they thought there were actual jewels on it. Really, it's just a bunch of glitter.
So that's to say not all mobsters are that bright, all right? Well, he found out this guy's name was Terry John Martin, and he lifted those somehow from the Judy Garland Museum back in 2005. So now he has the ruby slippers. He thought they were valuable because they had been insured for $1 million, okay? They'd been previously insured for $1 million, mostly because they're the shoes from the Wizard of Oz.
That Julie Garland wore.
Yeah, not because that they're actually worth, diamonds rubies worth $1 million.
I mean, they're
anyway.
iconic in the film.
So they caught this guy. They indicted him. He was charged with theft of major artwork. And then the slippers were later found in 2018 by the FBI. And at that point, they valued them at $3.5 million. So right now, they're up for auction, and the high bid is $800,000.
Wow.
It's going to go for more than that. If you are interested, the auction runs through December 7th. Oh, now it says the current bid is $812,000. Okay.
Next minimum bid is $825,000.
So
Okay.
check your bank account, maybe your retirement account, and see if you want some.
I wonder what size they are.
That's a good point. I don't
Right?
think. Are you going to wear them?
I mean, if I'm going to
Oh
spend
my
that much
God.
money for them, why wouldn't you wear them?
You would not wear them. You would. Jen
I would
Kerouac,
wear them. I would wear them.
You go.
If you're going to spend $1 million on shoes,
right.
why wouldn't you wear them?
And you go wear them next time you're downtown or next time you're at Pike Place Market, and somebody's going to chop off your feet to get there.
Okay, you're right. Okay,
Jeez.
maybe not.
Yeah. So, but if you're interested, they are up for auction. All right.
Kurt Cruz.
Yeah, this was not good.
I mean, we started our morning with you saying, "Hey, Jen, did you ever get your party pilot fixed when Macy crashed it?" I'm like,
That's true.
no, because it's not worth it. Why?
Well, the crash, she backed into something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was
the
really a crash.
babysitter's car.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't call that a crash, but still, it did some damage to your car.
Yeah.
And it is at an age where it's probably not worth it to fix it.
The party pilot looks like it has been to a really good party.
It has been to many really good parties. Well, my black truck, my F-150, is now black and yellow. And I imagine that this will not be, and when I say not too much to fix, that I'm like $1,500, which is still a lot of money.
Well, it's a lot
was
of
the
US
driver's
dollars
fault.
when you don't have a
It
job.
was the driver's fault. Idiot me. I was dropping off my mother-in-law to pick up her vehicle from, well, it was a Honda dealership in Everett. And I was like, oh, I'm blocking traffic. So I decided I'm just going to quickly pull into that parking space up to the right. I'll get out of the way, and then people can go through. And unbeknownst to me, there was actually a fire hydrant
Oh.
in that parking space in the parking lot. And it did have those beams around it, the yellow
Okay,
poles,
so you
yellow
didn't hit the
posts.
fire hydrant.
No.
You hit the
The problem was, the posts were only as tall as the fire hydrant. Fire hydrant's not that tall, especially when you're driving a big
Yeah.
truck. So I did not see anything. I just heard a that was
That's the
like-
worst sound.
I honestly did not see it at all because of how tall the truck is. And I thought, and this is not lifted or anything like this, it's a regular sized truck. And I was like, man, I must have run over a curb or something. And nope. So
Scrape
now,
something.
Yeah, passenger side door is going to need some work,
Kurt Gross.
Yeah, or not. I mean, I can't. It's a 2016. I can't drive around with a big red gash on my truck.
I'm going to check it out on the way out.
Do you know anybody? Are you going to fix it?
No.
No, I'll just get some fantastic spray.
Have you tried? Okay,
No,
is
it's
it dented?
No, that's fortunate. It's not dented. It's just, but it is scraped. They say if you get a scrape or in your car, and if you can run your fingernail and feel that there's a
Yeah.
scratch there, then that's more than just going through the clear coat, and you can definitely feel, your nail will catch So anyway.
You have to decide.
Yes, I have to decide. I've already decided. I'm going to fix it, but I might have to save my pennies for a while.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to trade in. You know what? This is off subject, but we still have lottery tickets, and they won $5 here, $2 there.
It's a start.
We've had them for like 3 years.
Oh, I don't think you can turn them in anymore.
Oh, we can. I think we can. We'll find out. I mean, it probably totals $30, but
I know, but I think that there's a
what
deadline.
All right, we'll find out about that.
Taylor Swift's brother. His name's Austin.
Austin Swift.
Yeah, tell me.
Well, this is kind of. Well, people use the word hero very loosely. I'm not going to say hero or heroic, but this is just a really nice thing that he did. This is from a young lady named Isabel, who posted this on X. She was, it doesn't even say what Eras tour she was at or where it was located. It just says, Taylor Swift brother helps a disabled fan get floor seats for the Eras tour following Stadium Nightmare. The nightmare at the stadium was this person is in a wheelchair, right? Mm-hmm. And apparently, and this is not a good thing, all of the ADA tickets for this show had been sold to non-ADA people. People had bought them. Well, they're snatching up all the tickets to the Taylor Swift shows and then they're selling them on the secondary market.
I know, but I thought that when you buy a ticket like that right. you are buying it with the risk of being moved so that it can be filled by a person that needs it. Okay, well, anyway, is better. These are better seats anyway.
I just found that out too. Is that people do actually buy those every ticket possible to sell?
Yeah,
so,
of course.
I don't know how long or how far in the show it is, but basically it said. We didn't have ADA tickets. We had to swap sheets at the show. I guess that's what you do. You come in and say, I'd like ADA tickets for this or whatever. Wasn't able to do that. Finally got somebody that was able to do that, but the seats were terrible seats. And they had spent so much time getting this worked out that it says by the song All Too Well, the 10-minute version. Oh. They had been shuffled around to 6 areas, barely saw Taylor. Oh. They didn't get to see Gracie Adams at all, the opening act, and still didn't have accessible seats. So, and then they were told to return to the 100 section to ask to be relocated again. And that's when they had several security guards there trying to help out. And along, overhearing the conversation, comes Austin Swift. He heard what was going on out of nowhere. They said he showed up. He listened to their story, invited them into the VIP lounge with him.
Whoa. Yeah. That would be awesome.
Yeah. So he introduced us as friends. This is Isabel saying this. Set up our seats, offered us food and drinks, and checked that we were good like a million times. And also even got VIP wristbands for her mother and her friend that were there with her. So, good dude.
That's really awesome. That's really, really great.
If you want to look it up, there are photos that Isabel shared of her family in the VIP lounge from the special moment. So there are still good people in the world doing good things.
There's lots of good people in the world.
Yes.
We just got to keep being good despite all the things happening.
I wonder if you are Taylor Swift's brother and you're at the show, if you can't pretty much do you have unlimited tickets you could give out? Can't be unlimited.
No, it's not unlimited.
All right. But still,
all right. I'm going to talk about this, this flying hack.
Flying hack. So if you're traveling, here's a hack from Jen Pirak.
Well, it's not from me. I just
because it rhymed.
Okay.
From Jen Pirak.
Okay. All right. I like it.
Okay.
This is a flying hack that's going viral. It's called check-in chicken, and I'm like, check-in chicken. Do we get chicken when we check in? Because that would be yummy.
Which I thought as well until I found it. It's more like people that play chicken, on the streets.
Right.
With your cars, because you're basically taking a big chance here. Do explain.
Okay. So instead of checking in for your flight like 24 hours in advance, like you can, and make sure you get a good seat.
Right.
You hold off until the very last minute. And you're taking a risk is because they're hoping that your seat's been taken and they're going to upgrade you to one of the seats that hasn't been filled yet, because sometimes they fill those.
You're talking about the exit row seats or more legroom seats?
That's right. Any upgraded seat besides. So if you just have a regular old seat,
right,
you can play chicken. Sometimes it pays off, but it's a risk because if you didn't check in until very, very, very late and they've already given away your seat and there's no other seats on the plane, too bad for you.
Well, and that's, because the idea is they don't want to pay for the extra legroom, which I think is actually sometimes it's a lot. It's like, to get those upgraded seats, it might be $150. Per leg.
Right.
Or something like
that. Well, you're taking the chance that the flight's overbooked, right? And that if you're checking in late, because what will typically happen with an airline is if the flight's overbooked, you check in late, they'll give you a seat that's better. Because it might be open, because they.
Right. But if the plane is sold out. and they already gave away your seat, then you're stuck in the very last seat next to the lav.
Or you're stuck without a seat.
Yeah, that's true. There's no
There
guarantee.
can be that because if you check in so late.
Right. Is it worth it to play check-in chicken to maybe get an upgraded seat for $0?
I wouldn't. Would you?
No way. Well, unless you're really loose with your travel plans, that's okay if I have to take a flight tomorrow.
Not. I'm not up for that.
No,
I just wanted to share it with you that that's a thing and you can do it and sometimes it'll pay off,
Right.
but also sometimes it will not.
You know what? And if you have done this and it has worked or it hasn't, let us know.
I just wonder if the airlines are going to catch on to this. I'm sure that they've seen it on social, and if they're just not going to do that anymore, they're better off upgrading some of their loyal people. That's typically what, like Alaska
Certainly
Airlines does
first
that.
class.
Yeah,
Absolutely. That
So,
they do.
anyway.
That's never happened for me, but I understand it's a wonderful thing when you get upgraded to first class.
This is the thing. This next thing is what I'm really excited about.
Are you excited? Well, let's let the music establish.
Let's let the music establish.
Yes.
Let me know when it's established in your mind.
It's established.
Okay.
Okay.
Louis Vuitton is selling a doghouse, and I would encourage you to look it up because it's so pretty.
Yes.
It's such a pretty house. The problem is the price tag.
Yeah, what's the downside to this? So describe the house first before we get to the price.
Oh, the whole thing is covered in tan and brown Louis Vuitton pattern.
Okay.
You know, that they use on their traditional handbags.
Bags and stuff.
It's technically a kennel, so it's an indoor doghouse.
Right.
I think, what did they call it? It's I forget what they called it besides
Indoor
a kennel.
doghouse works, but so if you
So if you left it outside, it would ruin it because it's cowhide leather trim. It's monogram coated canvas. I mean, the whole thing is beautiful.
How about the
Has
gold tone hardware?
Yes.
Yeah. A removable door with a hidden hatch on the bottom for easy cleaning. So
you can get this house.
Well, how about let's offer the other stuff in the line. Just we're building up to it. So
okay.
This is part of Louis Vuitton's.
So not only do they have the house, but they have the fashion brand's new pet line includes
A dog bowl.
a $2,200 dog bowl,
Right.
A pet flask, which that's just to carry extra water around. So basically, it's a water bottle.
I wondered if that was like what they always showed the Saint Bernards wearing, that big barrel around their
For
neck.
$2,300.
Okay.
And a poop bag holder. Poop bag holder for the cool price of $470. US dollars, that is.
So now you got a ballpark figures on those other things. So you're probably saying, oh, well, the Louis Vuitton doghouse is probably
10 grand.
10 grand, 11 grand. You'd be mistaken.
It's 60,000 US dollars. Some people could buy a very small tiny house for that amount. Some people could buy a motorhome for that amount.
Or put that money towards the ruby slippers from The Wizard of Oz.
That's true too.
Wow. So 60 grand.
You should wear your ruby slippers in that doghouse.
Jeez.
$60,000 on your dog.
When we're done with the show, we only look that up, and you've seen a picture of it.
I saw a picture of it.
Where do they
it's
sell
pretty.
this, by the way? Do you have to go to louisvuitton.com, or do they have it on Amazon?
Oh, I don't think they have it on Amazon.
No.
I don't think they have it on Amazon.
Hey, you know what? We're heading into the holiday season. You need your gifts. I'm just saying, all right? There you go.
Naughty Sailor would have that torn up and eaten in minutes.
That's true. That's what they do. All right, you found this story, and I think it's interesting because it's kind of science-y. It's super science-y, but the deal is, what they're asking is, or claiming, 60 degrees,
Feels
temperature.
Yeah.
Why does 60 degrees feel colder in fall than it does in spring?
And here's why I put this story in here, Curt, because I saw it and I'm like, oh my God, I felt like that yesterday. I felt, oh my gosh, it's cold.
And you look at the thermometer and it's 60.
And it feels, it feels way colder than that.
Usually it wouldn't be,
And we're sitting in, November.
Yeah. So why does 60 degrees feel colder?
You tell
in
me.
fall?
You're the
All right.
sciencey. You're more sciencey than me.
I'm just going to read this from Smart Science People. This
Okay.
Is not, there are a few reasons. The humidity level tends to be higher in spring. So, when you've got more humidity, it tends to feel warmer. The ground is colder in the wintertime. So you've got some of the coldness, lack of heat.
Yep.
The cold temperature coming off of the ground. Fall also tends to be windier.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
If it's windy, it feels cold.
60 degrees and the wind is definitely colder than 60 degrees.
The wind chill factor.
Indeed. Although they usually don't share that when it's 60 degrees.
No, but it comes into play.
60 degrees feels like 59 degrees. And finally, you're still used to summery or fall. Summer, our bodies take time to acclimate. So 60 degrees can feel balmy if it was 30 degrees a few weeks ago, but it can feel pretty chilly if you're coming off of a recent warm spell.
Right. That's that. There you go.
Was that too much science?
No, I don't think so. I think it was explained well.
And that actually, well,
and understandably.
Well,
or understandable.
I need to stand corrected here because my wife has said before, she said that, and I was like, that's not true. And I
that 60 degrees can
not
still
60, but just in general,
any degrees.
Yeah,
okay.
Or even in the house, it's like, well, how come in the house it's 60 degrees feels? So Dana, you were right. I'm sorry, and I owe you $1.
I mean, if anything science related comes up in conversation
and
with Dana,
wife says,
perhaps you should just believe her, Curt, and not challenge it because she is very smart at many things, especially science.
Moving on.
Okay. I think this is true Storyville.
Okay, please.
If you miss a deadline, like if you're at work and miss a deadline, your work immediately comes across as worse.
So basically, if you're putting together a proposal or something,
yeah,
and you miss the deadline, it's supposed to be done on Monday, and you're like, oh crap, we got to move the meetings. I'm not done yet. So Tuesday comes.
Or even if you're working on, it's like, oh, I want to make this a little better, so I'm going to turn it in late. It doesn't make it better. There was this research out of University of Toronto that found that if you submit a piece of work late, people will think it's lower in quality than if you were to submit the exact same work on time or early. In other words, not only do you take a hit for being late, but the extra effort is immediately canceled
by the late work turn-in. That's actually a good point because
canceled.
Yeah, exactly. It's the exact same information that you could have shared on Monday. But, you share it on Tuesday after the deadline, and people are like, nah.
It just makes you look less competent.
Right.
That's the thing. That's what the study showed.
And that reflects in the actual, I guess, quality, the impression of the quality of the actual material.
And they did, they did a series of experiments where they showed people in management positions the same samples of work, including like advertising, flyers, art, business proposals, like all the things.
Right.
And they asked them to rate it.
And what happened?
They rated
the stuff that was on time, right?
Or late, and managers consistently rated the late work as worse in quality compared to the same work.
Right, which was labeled early.
Do you want to go through some more of the interesting details from the study?
Real quick, yes. It didn't matter if the work was early. That work scored the same as the stuff that was submitted at the deadline. So there you go.
So don't bust your butt to get it in early. It doesn't matter.
It didn't matter how late the work was. Late was late. It didn't matter if it was 1 day or 1 week late. You're still going to get, you're going to get points deducted, essentially. However, the reason behind the missed deadline mattered. So if there were forces beyond an employee's control, such as jury duty, evaluators did not end up with as negative of a view of the stuff being turned in late.
If you have a good excuse,
right,
this could be all, like you can be late, and it won't matter. It won't affect your work.
Right. Finally, researchers also found the negative effects were not as severe as if they described the deadline or the work as not particularly important.
The negative effects were not as severe if they described the deadline or the work as not.
I wonder if that's the people who are, making the decision. I guess the evaluators, it would be like the managers or whatever. And if they said, well, it wasn't particularly important, so it's okay.
Okay, got it.
That's what I got you. I don't know that. I'm just guessing. I guess the end result here is turn your stuff in on time.
I mean, you should. Don't, not early, because that doesn't matter.
Early doesn't matter, but late is bad. Here we go.
Yes, I love.
Yes, we suggested yesterday. How about this for a little topic to chew on for a day and
to lighten things up, if you will.
The subject is, or we wanted to know what's something that you've seen a lot, but you're still in awe of every time you see it.
Yeah.
Right. And we don't want to use our examples because our examples were some of the ones that people
They're
said.
in there.
And there's going to be some repeats in here because a lot of people like some of the same stuff. But again, what's something you've seen a lot, but you're still in awe of every time?
So Jennifer said the ocean. Mm-hmm. Debbie and Tara both said sunset.
Yes, and that particularly, as we mentioned yesterday, here in the P and Dub.
Yeah, and Kate said the moon. Just the other day, 2 nights ago, I actually did a little voice memo to Pat saying, "Hi, honey, I don't know if you're looking at the sky right now, but the moon is beautiful. It's like crescent moon with a dusk sky. It was so pretty."
Perfect. How about Zolanda, who said Christmas lights?
Yeah.
Some people leave their Christmas lights up all year long, but particularly around this time of year, you start seeing them go up, and they're often very, very gorgeous. And Jennifer What?
Well, I was going to say Heather. I know she lives in Moses Lake, so she gets this view. She said the sunrise over the lake.
And only Heather gets that sunrise view. Darn it.
Well,
And other people that live on the lake.
yeah.
Jennifer, a different Jennifer said the mountains. We have a lot of mountains around here. And then
You and I said Mount Rainier.
yeah, Meredy also said
there you
Mount
go.
Rainier.
There you go.
This is a long one. Do you want to do this or not?
Let's see. The Corey said the ocean. Anything with space, like she said like
The zombie star. Let's explain that real quick.
You explain
I
that
looked it
because
up,
I don't
yeah.
know.
So Corey said two things: either the ocean or anything in space, like a zombie star. And we found this out. I found this out when I looked into it.
Okay,
A zombie
tell me.
star is expected to come back from the dead and light up the night sky in the coming months. We don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but this is the star T Coronae Borealis, also known as the Blaze Star, is expected to explode any minute now. That sounds bad, right? This will create a blast of light that will illuminate a dead binary star system for the first time in 80 years. So
What?
I guess it's like shaking hands or handing it off to the other star.
But how do we know? Do we just have to look at the sky and not sleep?
I don't think I think we have to wait. The people that have telescopes trained in the sky all the time will probably catch it. So they call these zombie stars because the stars themselves have reached the end of their life cycle, but they feed off a companion star in their binary system. Here's more science, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
When it happens, a star will suddenly appear in a part of the sky where we don't normally see one. So if you just happen to be looking at the right time, I guess you're like, oh, wait, a star just came up.
It will
Roughly.
be roughly in the same part of the western sky where we are seeing the comet, or where we were seeing the comet a couple weeks ago.
And
I didn't
also-
see the comet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Now you sound all dejected. It'll be about as bright as the stars in the Big Dipper. All right. So Western sky, if you feel like it now,
Thank you for this little lesson, Kurt Cruz. Thanks for looking that up.
it was a lot. So anyway, and thank you,
Okay.
Corey, for
No,
saying
that
that.
was good.
Now I'm
Okay,
going to see what it looks
we'll
like.
keep going, yeah.
Bree says the Aurora. Yes.
gets
Never
old.
gets old.
Yeah.
Lisa, the fall colors in the PNW also. Changing the trees.
Yep. Becky said the Grand Coulee Dam. I grew up there and have seen it so many times, but it still amazes me.
Right. And having gone by it, I could see how, like we said yesterday, we used to work right next to the Space Needle. Always cool to see. Melissa also said Mount Rainier.
Every single time, right? She's like, every single time the sky is clear, it comes out of nowhere. Like, bam. I agree, Melissa.
Yeah, and people around here know when you say the mountain is out.
Yes.
Because it's not always visible. It's amazing because it is, well, from us, it's what? How many miles south of here? It's got to be.
When I'm in the car and I have people in the car, I'm like, eyes up, eye candy right here.
Mountains out.
Yep.
Right. But then the next day, if it's even a little bit hazy,
Yeah.
no mountain. How about Miho? Oh, can I read this
Miho's
one?
my friend. Yes.
Miho
that's
said,
nice.
and this is, again, things that you've seen a lot, but it still continues to, you're awestruck by it even at this point. Kindness from Jen.
That was nice of her to say that.
All right.
Debbie, I like this. Her husband and her kids. Mm-hmm. Heather said the Columbia Gorge.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It is really
Absolutely.
beautiful. Bill said the full moon.
We got a moon, right? Okay.
Patrick, another one. That's another vote for sunsets.
How about Kim, who said running clean, hot and cold water, which is something to be amazed by.
We take that for granted a lot of times.
And then we have, finally, the two people said this. We have Randy, who always has something fun to say, and also our friend Ina. I am in awe of the fact that those people are willing to be seen driving those cyber trucks from the fine Tesla people. I still don't get that.
Ina said ditto that. All right.
I don't know how anybody thinks that that's attractive.
I wanted to go back up. Did we miss any? Like, there was some other really good ones from yesterday when we read that story. Did you?
If you can find them, that's great. You know, this is
Shoot, this is me not being very prepared.
It's
Sorry.
okay. Well, we had a
We'll just move
nice
on.
long list
Yes,
as it
we
was, and we
did.
appreciate that when you do help out with our show. And
Yeah,
we actually
love that.
we're going to ask you again to we're right at that point in the show where here's tomorrow's Curt and Jen podcast question of the day. Was that the name we decided on?
Yeah,
Okay. Are we ready to go with that?
I am.
Okay. This
Here
is
it is.
basically.
I like
go ahead.
this one a lot.
It's not even a question.
It's not even a question. It's finish the sentence.
And the sentence is ...
If I was in my 20s again,
What
what do you call the ... Do you remember?
Ellipses.
Ellipses.
Yes.
I never remember.
Ellipses. If I was in my 20s again, and then you get to fill in the blank.
Do you have a fill-in? I don't. That's okay. I'll think of
You know
one.
what I would, if you know, and
If I was in my 20s again.
here's what I always say is people are like, if I could go back in time, I would put all my money into Amazon stock or whatever. But that's not in the spirit of this, I don't think, right?
No, I think it's more like your life lessons
Okay.
stuff. But
All
that
right.
is a life lesson.
Yeah, if I was in my 20s again, here's what I would buy for stocks, right? So please get to any of the platforms, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of what would you do in your 20s that
If you could do it over again?
Yeah, if you could do it over again.
I wonder if we're going to get a lot of people like, not married Steve or whatever.
Okay.
Sorry,
Maybe
Steve.
not marry as young. Maybe
Yeah, that could be too.
date
So,
more.
Hopefully there'll be some fun ones and not all, if I was in my 20s again, I wouldn't have done this really horrible thing that screwed up my life, like accidentally running into a post by a fire hydrant.
Yeah, maybe, Curt.
Guilty.
Be watching.
All right.
Be watching out for things like that.
Yes, well, I
in your
should have
big
been
ass
yesterday.
truck.
I'll let you know what happens with that.
All right. We hope that we brought you a little bit of joy.
Yeah, or
And
a lot of joy.
happiness and fun.
Right.
Really fun. That was, Curt and I were talking about that. You know, despite all the stuff happening in the world, this is a little place you can escape. And we hope that we offer that for you.
Yes.
That you learn a little bit. Thank you for being here. Have an awesome day. Make good choices, find joy, and spread kindness.